morning, everyone. Happy New Year indeed. How great to be together on this Sunday morning. Thank you all for joining us here, and thank you for joining us online. Truly, everything is better when we're together, isn't it? Everything is better. So for those of you who are here in the sanctuary, how do you like the mood lighting? Right, so hats off to Paul Mitchum and others on our sound team and who were helping this morning, because the overhead lights went out. And we don't have the lights. The main lights are out this morning, and this works beautifully, does it not? Yeah, it feels kind of sweet, kind of cozy. So thank you to Paul for pinch hitting and make it work for us. Well, we're off to a start in a new year, which always feels great. Fun to have a sense of a clean slate ahead of us. At the same time, the pandemic is still raging, and we are certainly seeing more and more cases of COVID here in our community. So I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge and appreciate that this is a hard time. This is a hard time for each and every one of us as we sort of negotiate the changes that are happening, as we kind of retrench a bit from the activities that we were enjoying once again. But we'll get through it. We did before and we will again. It's a test of our resilience and our perseverance. And the really good news that I'd like to share is of those in our congregation who have become infected with COVID. They have quickly recovered. Typically they're vaccinated and boosted, which makes a big difference. And some of them are coming out the other side now and testing negative and ready to rejoin us. So we're very thankful for that. At the same time, we were reminded in a very vivid way this last week that this can be a deadly virus, particularly for people who are not vaccinated and have high health risks. And so I just want to take a moment to really acknowledge and honor the loss of a dear soul who has been a member of Unity Renaissance for a very long time, not here for several years, but our beloved Todd Corbett passed away quite suddenly this last week. Many of you know him very well. He was at Unity, he was a member of Unity for decades, and just such a joyful person, very involved in our men's group, had so much to give, such a loving heart, very supportive of his wife and family. His wife, Donna Corbett, was our administrative director for several years, basically oversaw keeping the church going for the almost year that it was between ministers, and Todd was just right there by her side. So we just send our love out to Donna in particular today, overcoming the shock and the grief and losing Todd, and just send him our appreciation, our gratitude, and our well wishes in his eternal journey. We are also taking a moment this morning to honor the passing of someone else who you might not know had a Unity connection, the wonderful Betty White. We all felt pretty sad when she went so close to her 100th birthday, and thanks to Christopher Naughton, I learned yesterday that Betty White was a longtime member and supporter of Unity, went to a Unity church, believed in our principles, and really applied those in her everyday life. When you think about what a joyful spirit she was, so generous with her love, so accepting and empowering people of diverse backgrounds, it really showed up through her. So we say thank you to Betty White, and we will miss you. Well, Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. We follow the teachings and the example of our way shower, Jesus, in seeking to more fully love ourselves, love God, and love one another. From that beautiful consciousness of love here in Unity, we honor all paths to God, all names for God, and all expressions of God. And each and every one of you, and each and every one of you is an expression of God. What a huge realization it is when we really get that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We learn how to tune into that divine light within us, as we will be doing today. When we do that on a regular basis and behold that divine light in each other, it just grows and grows, and it shines ever more brightly to light up the world. Our vision at Unity Renaissance is together, a spiritually awakened world, living in peace, love, and joy. And we are manifesting that vision through our mission, which is together, we transform lives that transform the world. Let's begin our time of transformation this morning in prayer. I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath in. And nice cleansing breath, release and let go, and just feeling how absolutely right and perfect it is that you are right where you are right now. That Spirit gave you that nudge to be a part of this service, whether in person or online, and your heart said yes. And we are so grateful, sweet Spirit, as we come together in community this morning to let our lights shine, to be filled anew with this beautiful presence of Spirit that is the truth of who we are. We know that we have within us amazing power and resilience, fortitude, strength, wisdom, all of these spiritual gifts working in us and for us as we navigate these challenging times and come through to brighter days ahead. And we do see brighter days ahead, brighter months ahead, and a brighter year ahead in 2022, all unfolding in perfect divine order. We give thanks that we are safe, that we are whole, that we are together. And for all of this, we say thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
All right, we have a little call and response for you guys. So let's stand up and try it. Not try it, we're going to do it, baby. Here we go. All right, we're going to sing you a line. You sing it back. Your part is repeat. Ready, Billy?
I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being.
Great affirmation. Let's hear you.
I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being. I can create anything I want this life.
How does that feel? Try it out for size.
I can create anything I want this life. The universe is on my side and I am love.
Let's hear it.
The universe is on my side and I am love.
How does that feel? Feel like turning to the person next to you now and tell them.
You are a powerful, creative, spiritual being.
Find another person.
You are a powerful, creative, spiritual being.
Right.
You can create anything I want this life.
All right. Let them know.
You can create anything you want this life. The universe is on your side and you are
Mean it now.
love.
Let them know.
The universe is on your side and you are love.
All right, all you powerful, creative, spiritual beings, I invite you to connect with that power within you as we turn to greet our neighbor with our divinity salute. Please join me as we greet each other with a bow. Together, the divine in me greets the divine in you, and we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God.
Are y'all ready to affirm together? We are. Ready?
We are a powerful, creative, spiritual being.
We can create.
We can create anything we want this life. The universe
firmed up. That's right.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance, and Happy New Year one more time. It's so good to be here this morning, to have the privilege and honor of serving as your platform host. My name is Margaret Jenkins, and it feels so good to see all of you here with us in presence today. The energy is just so dynamic. Our word for today is clarity. Please join me in our affirmation. Together, time spent communing with God gives me clarity. When I gaze towards the heavens on a moonlit night, I expect to see twinkling stars and constellations. But if I use a telescope, I can see details with much greater clarity. This example could describe my spiritual life as well. I may go about my life mindful of my blissful feelings and kinship with all people. These things and more are the fruits of my faith. But I find clarity during times of intentional contemplation. When I meditate upon the truth, I feel the presence of God fill my consciousness and touch my heart. This clarity informs my thoughts, my words, my actions, and brings my faith to vivid life. Our scripture today is from 1 Corinthians 13th chapter, the 12th verse, and it reads, "His divine power has given us everything needed for life and godliness through the knowledge of Him who calls us by His own glory and goodness." If you would like prayer support today, we have prayer chaplains available. Would our prayer chaplains for today please stand? We have Don and Lisa with us this morning. They will be available to pray with you in the chapel after the service. You may also fill out a prayer request form in the narthex, or you can submit a prayer request online at our website. Or if you wish, you can call Silent Unity. We have a 24/7 prayer ministry there. That number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY or 1-800-669-7729. And now, would you please join us for the Lord's Song?
Holy Creator, we praise your name. Your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's hold. Deliver us, Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays. Holy Creator,
Our Father, who art in heaven,
praise your name.
hallowed be thy name.
Your will in
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
supply our needs
Give us this day
from day
our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have forgiven our debtors. And lead lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
You may be seated. A little song from one of our favorite artists, Janice Stanfield. It's called True Calling. When you hear a voice that no one else can hear, yet it's clear and loud and ringing in your ear, and you finally know what it's time to do, that's your true calling, calling you. That's your true calling, calling you. When your heart's wide open 'cause your mind's been changed, and the dreams you dream are not the same. There's a gate that's open, you can walk right through. That's your true calling, calling you. That's your true calling, calling you. You ask yourself, is this a voice I can trust? You think you can't, but you know that you must. Where to find you fall if you let go, but there's only one way you'll ever know. Those wings you keep folded were meant to be used when your true calling is calling you. When your true calling is calling you. You ask yourself, am I asking too much? You think you can, but you know that you must. When your heart's wide open 'cause your mind's been changed, and the dreams you dream are not the same. There's a gate that's open, you can walk right through. That's your true calling, calling you. That's your true calling, calling you. You ask yourself, is this a voice I can trust? You think you can't, but you know that you must. Just trust. There's a gate that's open, you can walk right through. That's your true calling, calling you. 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 Thank you.
We love you. Well, it's time once again for New Year's resolutions. How many of you have made or are planning to make resolutions for 2022, or even just setting some goals? I know there are many hands up out there as well. Well, whether we formally state it or not, most of us have some awareness of what we would like to do differently or how we would like to be different in the coming year. And my question is, where does that awareness come from? Right? Like, who or what is telling us how we need to change? Oh, you might say, easy. My partner is telling me how to change. My children, my boss, my colleagues, my doctor, my therapist, my conscience. But I think that the true direction for our own growth and evolution comes from our own divine wisdom. It comes from the presence of God within us. You see, our higher self knows what we need to stop doing and what we need to start doing. It sees all of the ways that we hold ourselves back, that we block our good, that we get in our own way. Our divine self observes what is working in our life and what isn't. You know, we say we are spiritual beings having a human experience. The spiritual side of us is trying diligently and consistently to steer our stubborn, ego-driven human self in the right direction. And it does this in many different ways. You know, anytime you have the thought, well, my heart is telling me something, or my gut instinct is, or this just doesn't feel right. You have any of those experiences, you can be sure that your higher wisdom is speaking to you. And if at any time you have this sudden flash of insight or realization and you suddenly know exactly what to do, it feels right through every cell of your being, you have been blessed with divine guidance. You see, God in us, our higher self, whatever you like to call it, has much to tell us if we will just listen. More often we don't listen, do we? We're very busy people, right? We're too busy to tune into the presence of God within us, to discern our future direction or adjustments we need to make in our lives. We're too busy to check that out, or we may do some attunement inside and not really like what we hear. Right? We might get some direction like, well, you could forgive that person, or, maybe be a little bit more loving or kind. Maybe get a little more exercise. Maybe meditate. Da, da, da. As soon as you start hearing these things, you're like, la, 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 I can't hear you. Because it's so much easier to just keep on keeping on, isn't it? It's so easy to just keep being who we've always been, keep doing what we've always done, even if we don't particularly like the results. But friends, God isn't going to let you go that easily. You see this divine presence in you that is truly who you are. It has bigger plans for you. It has bigger dreams for you. It has a more expanded view of who you are. It knows who you most truly are and all that you can be. This divine presence in you, the God in you, loves you and is pulling for you. It knows the desires of your heart, and it wants you to have them. Not only does this higher self in you see your possibilities, it knows how to get there. And it is trying to tell you. In 2004, I was living in Portland, Oregon. My son Ben was away at college. My daughter Emily was still at home. She was in high school. I had a great job, had great friends, and a deepening spirituality through my church, Unity of Portland. And one day, I was actually the board president at Unity of Portland in 2004, and one day on a Sunday after church, we had a town hall meeting. And I found myself speaking to the congregation, giving an update on what was going on. And at the end of it, I just expressed how much I loved our church and how much I love unity. And what came out of my mouth was, unity is what I want my life to be about. Ooh, when I said it, I just felt it. I felt the truth of it. Now count with me as I go through this story the many different ways Spirit showed up after that to direct my course. So about 2 months later, the minister at Unity Portland pulled me aside, and it was after church one Sunday, and he goes, "Paula, you and I should talk sometime." I said, "Great." This is Reverend Dick Everts. I said, "Great, Dick, what do you want to talk about?" And he said, "You." I said, "Okay. All right, what about me?" And he looked right at me, and he said, "Your desire to be a minister." And I laughed, and I looked at him, and I said, "Dick, I never said I wanted to be a minister." And he just smiled with a twinkle in his eye and said, "I know." And at the time, it felt preposterous. I'm like, really? I just don't see myself doing that. But he had planted a seed, and that was the first time Spirit showed up to guide me on that path. The second time was 2 years later when my corporate job was eliminated, and my daughter Emily had decided she was going to go to college at University of Missouri, which is about an hour-and-a-half drive from Kansas City. I was casting about, what am I going to do? Where am I going to get work? How am I going to handle this? And one day I have this flash of insight, as clear as a bell. I want to move to Kansas City and go to ministerial school at Unity Village. Whew, it just came over me. But it had that same ring of truth. That was number 2. And then once I had made that decision, all manner of things started to line up. The synchronicities, the right people, the right resources. That move was complex. I'd lived in Portland for 27 years, but it was easy because I was in that divine flow. That was the third time. When I got to Kansas City, I had the longing to go to ministerial school, but I needed a job. I needed income. I couldn't afford ministerial school. And I was blessed to get a job at Unity Village in Kansas City. Here's a picture of it. That's the aerial view of the campus. And on one side of the campus are the administrative offices. So my office was right there. And then over here was the ministerial school, getting closer and closer. So I was over there doing my corporate job. About 3 years into the job, I had occasion to go sit in on a ministerial class one day. I was invited to come and sit in. I was overseeing communications and publishing, and they were talking about publishing. So I went over there. When I got back to my office, I was in tears because I knew with every fiber of my being I was supposed to be in those classes. That's where I really belonged. That was the fourth signal. So I could no longer deny what my heart was telling me. I went to the CEO, and I said, "I've got to go to ministerial school." We worked it out. She said, "Okay, go ahead and go part-time, and you can continue to do your corporate job." And then she said, "And oh, by the way, since you're on the executive team, you'll be getting free tuition." And that was 5. So you know the rest of the story, obviously, because here I am. But you know, when I look back over that string of events, I'm just incredulous at how Spirit was just kind of guiding me, right? Things were working out. The right people were showing up. The timing was perfect, all of that, because I had said yes in my heart. And I was following as I was led. Well, that's my story. Of greater importance today is your story. How many different ways is Spirit speaking to you? What are you ignoring or not hearing or pretending not to hear that your higher wisdom is trying to tell you? You know, chances are, if your awareness were opened up and you were truly listening, that there would be signs and messages all over the place. You would suddenly see them so clearly about what is your next step, because your true calling doesn't stop calling you just because you aren't listening. You know, when we say true calling, it sounds like we're talking about our perfect profession or job or career, which is kind of the story I was sharing. But I think of it this way: your true calling is really your truth calling. It's your inner truth urging you to be honest with yourself, to take stock of your life, to really honor what your heart is telling you and move in those directions, to be willing to learn and to grow and to persevere and to overcome and to be truly all that you can be. That inner urge can can be very subtle changes. It doesn't have to be big, but it puts you in the flow. And once we get in that flow, once we honor that call of the divine wisdom within us, it's astounding how things begin to coalesce. Is it not true? Have you not had this happen in your life? That when you say yes with your heart, suddenly the way is made clear. You feel like you're in this almost this whooshing sound of a divine flow going forward. Things fall into place as your resistance drops away. It is an astounding experience. And the very first step is tuning into our own innate divine wisdom. And that is what our white stone ceremony today is all about. It is all about turning within to hear what Spirit is saying to us individually. So here's how it works. We take a few moments. We'll do this in a little while. We take a few moments in meditation to attune to what we might call the still small voice within us, the presence of God within us. And then we listen for guidance on what word, or can be a couple of words, represent our highest intention for the new year. Our highest intention, the direction that we want to go, the quality we want to embody and express more than any. Usually we come up with one or two words that represent the changes we want to make in our lives. We write those on our white stone. You all should have received a little white stone and a pencil when you came in today. You write it on there and keep that as your touchstone for the coming year, a reminder of who you are being called to be. And for those of you who are watching at home today, I know that you probably don't have a white tile or a white stone to write on, and what I would invite you to do is to go through the process with us and just write your word or words on a piece of paper. And when you can get to church, we have a white stone for you. In fact, we have a lot more than the number of folks who were able to be here in person today. And during the regular church operating hours in the coming week, we'll put a basket out on the bench in front of the church with the white tiles in it. You just come by at your convenience and safely get one for yourself and put your word or words on there. So where did this even come from, the white stone ceremony? Basically traces back to Revelation 2:17, which says, "Let anyone who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. To everyone who conquers, who overcomes, I will give some of the hidden manna. And I will give a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it." So essentially, it's talking about when we conquer our limiting thoughts and error beliefs, we will receive manna, our spiritual nourishment, to live the life that we've imagined. The white stone traces back to the time of Jesus, and I love the symbolism of it. So when a prisoner was released from prisoner bondage of any kind back in his time, he was given a white stone. And it symbolized that he had done his time and paid his debt. He'd been released, and he was now deserving of all the rights of a free man. So that stone indicated he was free. And it indicates the same thing for us. It symbolizes our freedom when we release the bondage of our false limitations, our old beliefs, our outworn ways, our error thinking, these thoughts that have been sort of cluttering up our mind. They've been for us like a kind of prison. To break free of those, we set our direction in concert with our internal guidance. And the word or words we're guided to write on our white stone represent for us a new identity, a new name, so to speak. Might not be, Bob or Tom or Jill or something like that, but it's a new identity for us. It's what and who we are growing into. A new higher realization of the I am, an awareness of our God self. We might even say we are made new. So another interesting point for those of you who have your white stones this morning, they actually came from the Holy Land. And the stones are made by a company called Jerusalem Stone, which cuts them from natural white stone imported from Hebron, Israel. How beautiful, isn't it, to feel that connection with history and place? It is upon these stones that you'll write the word or words you receive from Spirit today. So, I invite you now to prepare for this journey, to discover your true calling, your truth calling, What will 2022 look like as you follow the call of Spirit within? Consider that white tile that you're going to write on as being like a blank canvas for the year ahead that you are now ready to set an intention for. So with that, let's take some time in meditation. I invite you to get very comfortable in your seat. Close your eyes and breathe. Big, deep breath in. And let it go. And breathing in a sense of ease and relaxation. And breathing out peace. And just give yourself over to the perfection of this now moment. Take a moment to behold the divine order that has unfolded in your life, up to and including now. Consider that you have been brought to this point in preparation for what is next. Breathe deeply once again, acknowledging that the old has passed away, every event, circumstance, relationship, all the twists and turns of your life, every challenge, every encounter, everything in your life has served a purpose. You are now at a turning point, ready to be set free from anything that might bind you. You are ready to let it go, to get out of the way of your good coming forth, and to be set free into the best year of your life. Gently now bring your attention to your heart space. And feel the great warmth and love of Spirit there. Open yourself to that love as you begin to listen for guidance. Who are you being called to be? What words or word express Spirit's highest intention for you? Breathe and ask. Ask, what is the most helpful quality, word, or identity for you to grow into in this new year? Breathe, stay with it, and listen for a few minutes in the silence. Slowly, very slowly, begin to bring your attention back to the present and to this room. And when you are ready, when you feel so led, write on your white stone the quality, word, or words, or identity that came to you through this exercise as your intention for 2022. If you did not receive a clear message today, please know this is an exercise you can continue at home until you receive the guidance that you are seeking. And as you hold your white stone from the Holy Land in your hand, know, those of you who've written on it, that you've written a word that is very personal to you. Imagine Spirit has written this very same word on your heart. And I invite you to put your stone someplace where you can see it every day. Know that it has come into your awareness to be lived into being, not just for this exercise today, but along with being given the guidance, you've been given all the internal resources to bring it into manifestation. This is your direction. It's to be lived, expressed, and embodied as you. So prepare to act on it. I brought along a little video this morning to cheer you on. It speaks about New Year's resolutions, but it applies just as well to our white stone.
I have a problem with New Year's resolutions, not because they often fail or because they're too difficult, and not because I'm bad at them either. I mean, I've only been alive for 4 new years. No, I have a problem with resolutions because people think that that's it. It's for one time to change. Now, don't get me wrong, we definitely all need change. I have no idea how to ride a bicycle, and my little brother has no idea what a toilet is for. And some of you, yeah, you probably should get out of the house more, but one big decision probably isn't going to do it. Sorry. So now what? Flush your resolutions down the toilet for one my little brother can't use? Of course not. Keep your resolutions, but go easy on yourself. Will you change? Maybe, but probably won't happen in one big moment. It'll happen in thousands of little moments. Every time you choose to forgive or slow down or be grateful or stay calm, each little moment that you choose what's right instead of what's easy, faith instead of doubt, love instead of hate, that's where the change happens. Even if you fail 1 or 2 or 30 times, it's okay. You've got thousands of more little moments ahead of you. You'll get better. So Happy New Year, God bless, and I'm off to ask my dad to get a bike, either or a pony. Bye!
There's a budding minister, wouldn't you say? Today you've taken a first step in creating a new you for the new year. And really it's up to you what you create in 2022. Is it going to be the same old you in 2022? Or is it going to be dreams come true in 2022? Let your white stone and your inner wisdom be your guide. Thanks, you guys. Hey, was anybody surprised today when your word came to you? Did anybody start out with a different word and have a different one come to them? It happened to me up here. Shocked the heck out of me. It was great. All right. Well, thank you and Happy New Year again. This is a time in our service for sharing our love offering in support of Unity Renaissance, this beautiful spiritual community that feeds our souls, that makes such a difference in our lives and in the world. There are many different ways to give to Unity Renaissance. Those of you here, if you would like to give via check or cash, that is fabulous. We have a love offering basket in the back, and we invite and appreciate if you just put your offering in there. Of course, the easiest way to give is by using your smartphone. You simply text the word give, and thereafter the amount you wish to donate to
540-418-1228. Text now.
All right. And you can also download the Tithely app, which is great. You can use our app. And if you do use our app where you push on give, it actually offers you another option other than text to give. You can actually give electronically with your credit card. You just go to give on the app and hit give online, and the form just pops right up for you. You can also do that on our website. With that, I invite you to hold your gift in your hand or your phone, as the case may be, and let's bless it with our offertory blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Giving is giving back to you. Giving is giving back to you. Giving is giving back to you. Pressed down, shaking together, running over. Back in good measure, it's giving back to you.
Ready, Freddie.
I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I see. I am called to be everything. I am called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see. All the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. And we're called to be. You were called to be a mother, to nurture family. You were called to be a brother, be strength in times of need. You were called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You were called to be a leader, to build community. You were called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. You were called to be everything. to be the kindness, see the broken-hearted free. We're called to be forgiveness, where pain has run too deep. We're called to be compassion, be the wind beneath each wing. We're called to make communion, only then can we succeed. We're called to be your prayer, living out the truth we seek. We're called to be everything. We're called to be in the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. We are the living, breathing God, and we are one in me. We're called to be.
Called to be joy, called to be love.
We're called to be. We're called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love. We're called to be. We're called to be. Called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be
Thank you, Lily Scott. Thank you, Lily.
Us on sax. Oh, so great. You guys are awesome. This is the time in our service when we welcome those who are new to Unity Renaissance. If you're here today for the first, second, or third time, we invite you to raise your hand nice and high, holding up the appropriate number of fingers. 1 for your first time, 2 for your second visit, 3 for your third. Got some right down here in front, ushers, and 1 over here. Great. Oh, beautiful. What a great Sunday you chose to come be with us. We look forward to seeing you again and again. They're getting organized back there. And now here they're coming. Birgit, thank you, dear. Here she comes. She'll be over in just 1 minute. Quintina, over here, please. All right, very good. Thanks for joining us today, you guys. What an honor to have you with us. Well, hey, we have our next Higher Consciousness film coming up this Friday night, which is January the 7th. We're kind of kicking off early the Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration that happens in mid-January. We're going to show this very beautiful film, very inspiring and informative film, King in the Wilderness. It details the last 2 years of his life and kind of what he was dealing with externally and also what he was dealing with internally. We're going to have, of course, the protocols are in place. Wear your masks, sit apart, but we will have free admission, free popcorn, and I know we're going to have a great discussion after the film, and here's the film trailer.
Civil rights, King, roll 20, sound 36.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a human being and he was imperfect. He was conflicted, but his love was unchallengeable.
We have an opportunity to inject morality in the veins of our civilization.
We were trying to redeem the soul of America from racism, war, and poverty.
We're dealing with issues that will call for the restructuring of American society.
The most difficult time of his life was the 18 months before his assassination.
I will continue to preach nonviolence.
I do not know that everything that Martin said or did, he was quite prepared for.
In the middle of all that was the rising of the Vietnam War.
Dr. King made the decision that he had to be against the war.
These people are damning me when I say you ought to be nonviolent toward little brown children in Vietnam. Stick with civil rights!
He said, my friends are turning on me.
He was devastated.
Do you fear for your life? It isn't so important how long you live. The important thing is how well you live.
Attacks and the criticisms on him were getting more and more vicious.
I'm gonna march if the spirits say march.
The FBI was constantly investigating King.
We will not tolerate lowest.
I'm gonna march if the spirits say march.
Dr. King looked me straight in the eye and said, if you can't drive, you run.
If the spirits say march.
You can't run, you walk.
I will march, oh Lord.
You can't walk, you crawl.
March if the spirits say march. If the spirits say march. If the spirits say.
But keep moving forward.
March if the spirits say march.
So it's a very stirring film. It's very timely in some unfortunate ways. A lot of those issues, many of those issues are still with us. But I really look forward to the discussion after the film so that we can be informed from his experience and his leadership about how we show up now. Join us.
We will have an informal meet and greet today after the service in the fellowship hall. Next Sunday, we will have formal question and answers with the candidates after the service in the sanctuary. It will also be live streamed for those of you at home. And elections, the election is January the 30th at our annual meeting. And we still have packets outside in the narthex if someone is interested in turning it in.
And our three board candidates are here, so I'm just going to have them stand up. Hopefully you can see them so you know who to look for out in the narthex today. They're Gail Boynton, Adrian Diggs, and Sheila Kilman. If all three of you would stand. Great, great folks. Excited they're running for the board. So spend a few minutes with them this afternoon in the narthex. Well, next Sunday, my talk will be Raise Your Vibe. What a great idea, right? To raise our vibration for the new year. I'm excited about it. I have a very special challenge for you this year. So for those present, it'll be a special kind of gift for you and a challenge. So I hope you'll be with us again next Sunday.
And if you all, when you came in, if you looked around the walls in our sanctuary, we have a new art collection, and it is absolutely beautiful. It is entitled Still Life and Landscapes, and it will be up through the month of February. Our featured artist is Karen Sutton. And it is absolutely beautiful. And 30% of the proceeds will go to Unity Renaissance. Everything on the wall is for sale. So please take a minute and just take a look at her beautiful, beautiful artwork.
Really lovely. Hey, we are navigating the pandemic and conditions as they come along, and we've decided to not have any youth education next Sunday. We're just going to take this a week at a time. Right now we have some teachers who've been sick, a heavy load on those teachers who are still here. We're going to kind of take a little break next Sunday. We'll see where we stand after that, and we'll be announcing each Sunday whether we have it the following Sunday, but are grateful for our teachers who are here today for the kids who are present. And with that, let's stand and welcome them in, shall we?
Walking in the light of God. We are 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 walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, we are walking, whoa, we are walking in the light of God.
Hello, kiddos. Ooh, it's really loud when I put my mask over. Who would like to share what you learned today? Come on up, Coco.
We create what we want with our thoughts.
We create what we want with our thoughts. Amen. Come on up, Hadley.
Be careful of how you talk to yourself because you are listening.
Oh my gosh. Be careful how you talk to yourself because you are listening. Come on up, Jeremiah, sorry.
We were talking about friendship, and we were discussing how you could be good friends to others. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. They're talking about friendship and how you can be good friends to other people. Anybody else? Hey, thanks for being with us today, you guys. Did you have something you want to share, Adeline? We're good? Okay. Well, Happy New Year to all of you. Well, let's stand together now for our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.